other episodes of Encounters, we've always focused on the location itself. The subject matter we are about to explore is potentially dangerous. We strongly advise you do not mimic what you're about to see. Right guys, day one. Basically what we're doing now, we're up on Dartmoor, we're heading up to an area known as, Victon Tor. But basically this was a scene for the slaughter of a lot of horses back in the 70s. But what's been interesting, it went quiet for a bit, and then sort of over the last 10 years or so, it's all picked up again. And there's been a lot of ritualistic slaughter. Lambs have been found slaughtered with the organs missing. And there's one area we're going to go and have a look at where they found 7 sheep laid out in a hexagram, all slaughtered. And you have to say, the fact that it was laid out in a hexagram points to ritualistic murder, potentially satanic-wise. Are these slayings on Dartmoor the result of practicing Satanists? We delved into the study of demonology and found a whole raft of information. For example, the book, The Lesser Keys of Solomon, is an anonymous grimoire on demonology written in the 17th century. A portion of the work was later transcribed by Aleister Crowley, which described rituals used for summoning demons. It is possible these works were used to underpin the introduction to the Church of Satan, which was set up by Anton LaVey in 1969. We're up here on Dartmoor. We're trying to find out where the areas might be that the Satanists may come and do their rituals. We've just been in the local pub, talked to a couple of the locals, had a bit of lunch, and got talking to one of the ladies who works there, mentioned about a story, quite interesting. Apparently they were in bed one cold winter's evening at 3 o'clock in the morning, bang, 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 bang on the main door. Didn't want to go downstairs, it's a bit dodgy. They shouted out the window, excuse me, what seems to be the problem? And the guy shouted up, he goes, I'm looking for the nearest car park to the Stone Circle, he said. The nearest car park. And he was all dressed in black, had this backpack on with all these trinkets and talismans hanging off it. Looked very, very unusual, they said. And she said, well, to be fair, the nearest car park is here, where we are now, and said the Stone Circles are just over there. And with that, 3 o'clock in the morning, this guy just heads tail, fast as he possibly could apparently, and run all the way from that pub along this road to this car park and up towards the Stone Circle. So I'm sorry, we're going to have to go and have a look to see what's there. So would this be Neolithic? Talking period.
I would say sort of Neolithic. You're looking at that time period. I mean, it's amazing they're still here now. They're markers. Obviously, they were here for a reason, very prominent. And these were places of worship. And you probably find there is a ley line, many ley lines that intersect here as well.
You look at something like this and you realise ritualistic behaviour goes back thousands of years, tens of thousands of years. They built a gateway out of stone to a point. And as you say, it usually follows like a ley line or the trajectory of the sun or some other meaning.
As well, yeah. You probably find where the sun rises or there's certain stars that are markers as well.
Upon arriving at the Stone Circle, we decided to do a team investigation using the portal. We tried this at the dead centre of the circle. Were you involved in a ritual up here? Yeah. Did you say beast? Can you hear me? Yeah, that's my name. What's your name? Can you tell me your name? saying my name? Possibly. Can you name the people in the ritual? Do you believe in God? Sounds to me like he keeps saying, Jason, it's you. Jason, it's you. All the hairs have just stood up.
Look where you are, though.
Who is it I'm talking to now? Please make yourself known. What is your name? My name is Jason. What? Sounds like two of them having a conversation. Why are you in this place? Fire. What are you doing in this place? Dying. How long ago were you here? Are you of the ancient kind? Are we going to the right areas? You know, Stone Circle, is that likely?
Yeah, we're hitting some of these areas that are key in regards to ley lines, energy lines, the fact there's a stone circle, because that's very relevant in regards to energy there. The fact that it's going to have the stone there, so ritualistic things would have occurred there as well. So everything ties in together. If it's going to happen, then this is a place that's going to be worth visiting.
So do you think maybe if we come back also later at night, is there any particular month or evening that we should be focusing on? Because it would be great to try and capture it in progress.
I think the best thing to do is if we actually look at the calendar and see what specific dates are, because it works in cycles, and more so when there's a full moon as well. And it'd be interesting to see when the next full moon actually is. So I think we hit at the key time. There's always a possibility you may capture something.
I mean, if we could get to talk with one of these guys that are doing these rituals, you know, a Satanist, you know, if we can get to talk to one of them, that'd be absolutely brilliant. Find out more about this.
Why they do this, they must, you know, why do they do this? What compels them to undertake these rituals? It'd be interesting to see their side of the story.
We've been up on Dartmoor and seen the stone circle at Merivale. We've taken along some equipment and we performed a bit of an investigation in the day. So the whole crew was there. We took along the ghost hunter apps and the portal, and we run a session inside the stone circle, and then we went down to the monolith just outside the stone circle. On reviewing the footage back, some phrases have become apparent, and they're quite interesting. One of the things that kept becoming apparent to me is it sounded like it kept saying my name. So initially it said something like, Jason, don't leave me. And then I said, look, what's your name? And it said, B. Heath. We've looked up the name B Heath. I can't see any relevance, but it may not have been the name B Heath. It may have sounded like B Heath. Some more interesting things. I asked, do you believe in God? And the answer come back, Jason, do you? Another one that says, I said, has any satanic rituals taken place here? And she said, not real. And then I said, look, you still with me? And she said, yes. There was a lot more phrases in there, and you'll probably pick it up from the episode. We moved down then to the monolith, and we had quite an interesting session there. The voice changed drastically. It became a sort of a deep, gravelly male's voice. And I asked a question, who is it I'm talking to now? Please make yourself known. And it came back quite quickly, quite clearly saying, these are dark people. Also the name Leviathan, and also Zuzu, which is a name we've run into many a time. Both names of demons high up in the hierarchy of Satan's demonology, if you like. Also the word fire, or the phrase fire on wall came through, not quite sure what that meant. I asked a question, what are you doing in this place? And it sounds like he says, dying. And then it finishes with a phrase that sounds to me like it said, the mist is circle, which is interesting because we were near the stone circle, and Dartmoor is well known for its mist. Now, is it just coincidence? I don't know. You'll have to make your mind up on that. Some great news. We've managed to get hold of a priest who's willing to be on camera and talk to the Encounters crew about the subject matter of the paranormal and obviously Satan and things. And he's an exorcist. He's based in Dartmoor. His name's Father Freddy, and we're off to interview him hopefully in the next week or two.
The evil is really good that's gone sour and gone bad and not reaching, and that's how I've seen it. I don't usually see it in the sort of dualism of light and dark, really. I see it as a sort of, I mean, Lucifer was an angel who had gone a little bit, off the rails, if you
Yeah.
The sort of, he was a light bringer. Lucifer, that's what it means, light bringer. But I think it's often, in my experience, it's sort of a goodness that has lost its mark. The wonderful church at Buckfastleigh, on the top, that was a place for Satanists that would go, and one day the vicar, and I can't remember his name, I remember him, I know him, he caught them right in the middle of the church performing various rites, and he told them to get out. Within a few days, the place had burnt to the ground, and that was them. Yeah, and that was a known case of getting their own back, revenge and retribution. I mean, these people mean business. You see, the poor vicar at Buckfastleigh, they got their own back on him. They burned his church.
Journey takes us to a place called Hairy Hands Road, where reports of mutilated animals such as deer have been found strewn across the woods. The Hairy Hands Road itself has its own haunting tale. However, occultist reports of mutilations and a sighting of a black hooded figure meandering around this area are prominent. Could the hooded figure be part of a satanic cult coming out to practice his rituals, much akin to the report we heard earlier at the Merivale Stone Circle? It's August the 1st, and I've been doing a lot of research about Merivale Stone Circle, obviously where we've been to investigate already, just to see what the circle was all about based on the witness reports. Since then I've done a bit more research and have found out a bit more information about that area of the moor around the Merivale Stone Circle, and more about the Stone Circle itself. There seems to be reports of satanic behaviour leading back to the 70s, and in the majority of cases, as we've mentioned, there's sort of been carcasses of sheep have been found there upon the moor, which look like they've been slaughtered in sort of satanic ritual ways, but also the carcasses of ponies and of horses and even of cattle. So it's not as if it's just being kept to sheep. However, what's more worryingly is it turns out today, as I said, is August the 1st, and August the 1st has a very poignant date in the satanic calendar. So August the 1st is known as Lammas Day, a Sabbath festival and is about blood, animal and or human sacrifice, any age, male or female. Got hold of the team. I've rung around to see if we could get up there today. Let's get up on the moor tonight, around the Merivale Stone Circle. Let's take all the cameras, all the gear. Be good to get up there after dark and basically see if we can spot any Satanists coming along to perform a ritual. This is Dartmoor, and more specifically Pork Hill.
Yeah, it's a very ominous place. The Satanic calendar states it's Lammas Day. Obviously prior to that there's preparation for sacrifice and the build up to the Lammas Day.
So we're really going to go back to the Merivale Stones, the gateway to the dead,
yes.
On a hope that, being the August 1st, being it is a specific poignant date in the Satanic calendar, that we may, if we're lucky, get to capture some ritualistic activity, hopefully.
We know animals have been sacrificed up here in the past. That is fact, that is true. It's been documented, it's in various newspaper clippings, it's been recorded, it's featured on news programs, where farmers have encountered sheep that have been slaughtered, with their eyes gouged out. Quite horrific, really, sacrificial sort of circumstances.
So I was reading an article the other day which suggested that there's something ridiculous like 100,000 people that go missing in the UK alone every year, and there's something like 1 million in America every year that go missing. And it's mentioned that this could be put down, a lot of it could be put down not only to human trafficking and the likes, but also to sacrifices.
Yeah, you're correct. That is true. That is fact. And I see where you're coming from, and it could be the case. I mean, it's quite horrific to think that. I mean, it's quite. I don't know how you comprehend that, really. But as you said, people do go missing.
Well, what I'm intending to do before, while we're setting the tent up and everything, I'm going to go off to the Stone Circle, and like I did before, I'm going to just do a bit of an investigation there and take some tools with me and just see what I can capture, camera, voice recorder, and some other bits and bobs. Because I'd like to see if, being also the fact that it is a poignant date on the Satanic calendar, and we are going to an area that's associated with Satanic rituals, and the fact that it's also called the Gateway to the Dead.
Exactly.
I would like to see, or would like to think that I might get something tonight, but also it'd be interesting to see if I may encourage something to come through that they may use later. It's Lammas Day. According to the Satanic calendar, it is an important sacrificial date. We set up our base tent and prepare all the tech for the long night ahead. I am, as you can well imagine, feeling somewhat anxious at what the evening may present. As well as wondering what I may capture on the various devices, I am also intrigued as to whether a group of Satanists will happen upon me. You're going to leave me here now at the Stone Circle, Merivale. Head back to the tent. Thanks for helping me set up the gear.
No worries, mate.
And I'll see you a bit later.
Take it easy and cheers, Jay. We've got the radios if you need us, mate.
All right, excellent. Cheers, guys.
Good luck. See you in a bit.
I'm actually in the dead centre of the Stone Circle. So obviously there's one of the stones, and as I move around, there's another one of the stones, and there's another one here, all the way around. I see another one there, and I think there's 9 stones in total. And then just down the end there is the monolith, as you can see there, just lit up slightly. Got an IR on it, so we can see if anyone's approaching from that direction. turns out that this place is also known as the gateway to the dead. And I'm intrigued by that. I'm intrigued to know why it's earned such a nickname. Now, we obviously know that rituals have taken place here, whether it be satanic rituals, pagan type rituals. Druids I've heard have been here and probably performed various different types of dances and rituals and probably spells and things. So I've brought all the investigation gear that we've got, and I'm going to run on my own. All the guys have gone back to the tent, a little investigation, and see if I can pick up anything here that may be relevant. I'd imagine this is where a lot of the activity would have taken place. The dead centre makes sense. It's all about symmetry, all about balance. So you'd think things would have happened in the dead centre of the circle. And when we first came here, this is where some burnt wood was found. So I'm gonna do some dice to start and see if I can communicate the old school way using letter dice. Please, can you tell me your name? Please, are you willing to communicate with me? Please tell me your name. Help. I don't know if you can see that, but in a roundabout way there, H-E-L-P, help. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. Can't see any name. That's weird. So I'm rolling the dice, and as I'm rolling it on the grass, I find, I don't know if you can see this, see it there? On the camera it looks white, but it is a pitch black, dark black, very coarse hair, like a woman's hair, very black. And that was a monk, and that was with the dice. Very strange, just as I'm calling out, asking, can you tell me your name? In a place where potential human sacrifices happened. It's really strange. I'm getting a lot of noises surrounding me right now in the stone circle. It was quite windy up until 20 minutes ago, and it's just dropped. There's no wind whatsoever. It is so peaceful up here. It's weird, like the storm that we experienced just gone. Right, what we got going on here? Got the portal. I'm going to run the ghost arc. Can you tell me your name, please? Do you recognise me? Can you tell me why you're here in the stone circle? you murdered here? It's been fairly quiet so far up here in the stone circle in the centre of the gateway to the dead. But what is ironic is the fact it's so peaceful, so quiet. I'm right up on Dartmoor and there's just no wind. The sky is clear. I don't think I've ever been on Dartmoor where there's been no wind. Does that mean there's no energy? I don't know. Could we expect different results on a more stormy like day? Possibly, but are those results genuine paranormal results? Maybe not. Monolith stone structure, which is obviously poignant to the stone circle, which is just up there where those lights are. Those lights are the camera lights, camera IR. It's not far away. And you've got this stone monolith. Let's have a look, see if there's any electromagnetic energy come off it. Is there anybody here with me now that'd like to communicate with me? I've come all the way up onto Dartmoor. I'm standing in and around the stone circle on August the 1st, known as Lammas Day in the Satanic calendar. Does this date mean anything to you? This moor is a vast landscape of brush and stones, granite. It's got so much history attached to it. I could hear what sounded like a young girl's voice, which is quite unusual considering it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'm right up on the moor. I hope that that isn't a sign that a certain group of people are coming. My battery on my phone was at 46% and it's gone. Boom. From 46% to nothing. So my phone is dead. The radios, ironically it turns out, can't seem to contact the other team, which is a little worrying because now I have no phone, so I can't even ring them. So I'm right in the middle of Dartmoor, a fair distance from the team and the car park. I can't see a thing without looking through an IR camera because it is pitch black, give or take the moonlight, and it is Lammas Day. So potentially August the 1st, Satanic calendar, big date, sacrifice. And now I have no way of knowing if I'm suddenly going to be surprised by a group of people who could be out to perform a ritual.
Thankfully, I managed to gather all the equipment together, and within minutes the rest of the team rejoined me to help carry the tech over the moor and back to base camp. Upon arriving, I felt much more relaxed knowing I was in a familiar location, surrounded by familiar people. We did not see any other people approaching the stone circle throughout the night, and so no sacrifices were made, at least not at the gateway to the dead. We thought this may have been the end of our journey into the occult, but little did we know, it was just the beginning.